Testing, testing. I hope y'all can hear me. Hope we're good. I'm trying something out. Hmm. Enoch says, Puniti, salute. He says, I need my content. So I decided to start the stream. I decided to start the stream. Was it, I think, yeah, I decided to start the stream 10 minutes early, but um, I think I needed to do that. Just let me know. I'm gonna play one of these videos. Just let me know how it sounds. I just want to see how it sounds if you play one of these videos. Let me play. Let me play this just to test to see if the sound's working.
Anton Daniels went and got his daughter and his
So it's the sound. It's the YouTube. Put a one in the chat if the video is making a sound.
wife to file a lawsuit against Corey Holcomb. Very, very interesting, right? But one of the things that you guys need to understand is the law is very specific about certain things. If you look at Anton, I'm going to say Anton's lawsuit, although it is his daughter and his wife who actually filed it. If you guys actually pay
Okay, that's good. At least the video audio is good. Now I know the mic audio is not going to be the best. Um, right now I'm in a situation. My my brother brought his girl over, but I was in the shower when I got the text, and so she's over here right now. So I got to be respectful of that. So I'm gonna be using my inside voice, my Dr. Umar voice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. So my yeah, like I'm telling, this is real life. My brother gave me a text, but I was in the shower at the time. Now, to be fair, I probably would have still said yes, bring her over, but then I would have probably moved my video to like a later time, later point in time, but there's probably no point in doing that. Um, I was always going to schedule the stream at around 9 o'clock anyways. So the mic audio is probably not going to be good, just to let you guys know, but the video audio apparently is still fine. I'm trying something different. I'm trying something different. Um, I'm trying a little something different. But like I said, we're gonna go off. Let me display something real quick because I just want to make sure I explain the situation to you. Um, this Anton Daniels Corey Holcomb situation to you in full. This is gonna be some interesting, very interesting stuff. Um, but is I'll say I'm not. It is interesting, but it's very disappointing to say the least. It's very disappointing, and I will explain why in a little while. Let me see if I can open this. Because I don't think I have like a full HD, screen of Anton. So let me see if I can just display. I'm gonna take this off. Let me take this bad boy off real quick, and then let me display this whole ass nigga's picture. Right. So here we have Mr. Anton Daniels, and what you see on the screen, sorry, what you see in the title is real. So Anton Daniels, he's not directly suing Corey Holcomb, but his wife and daughter, according to the paperwork, is suing Corey Holcomb. So you know what that means. Anton Daniels is indirectly suing Corey Holcomb by via his daughter and his wife. So Anton Daniels' name is not on the paperwork, but his wife and his the underage daughter is on the paperwork. And he's going and he's using them to drop a case on Corey Holcomb and the 5150 show. This is, the lowest, I will say the lowest of lows. Yeah, he says the video audio's top notch too. Thank you, Pyro. But it's I have never seen no whole shit like this in my life from a grown man. I've never seen some whole shit like this. Ever. I mean, he's not even man enough to put his name on the lawsuit. So say if this goes through to trial, the court accepts this. You know that it's going to be his daughter and his wife on the stand instead of him, right? So he's willing to do that just to get at Corey's pockets or the pockets that Anton said he didn't have. Like, I've never seen no whole shit like this. I ain't never seen no whole shit like this in my life. Like even like the small, like this is some stuff that like small hats be doing. You know what I mean when I say that? Like that is, I'm in shock. So shout out to George Golden 5041. He says agreed. His name is on the paperwork, but his hands are all on this lawsuit. Shout out to Corey Porter 1978. Shout out to you. Thank you for the $2. Thank you for the $2 super chat. I don't know if I'll be able to play these sound bites because right now my microphone is connected to my AirPods, my bootleg AirPods, my $20 AirPods. So I don't know if my sound bites will play, but let's test it out.
Donations, 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 gifts, 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 more gifts, more.
Yeah, sorry, my Dr. Umar Johnson soundbite will work with if I gotta disconnect my bootleg AirPods for that to work. But shout out for you for the $2 super chat. He says Anton is a full-blown coward. And here's the thing, Corey Porter. Here's the thing. When you look at most of these YouTube videos, I mean, how about this? Let me say it like this. When you look at most of these so-called Black Manosphere channels, they're on Anton Daniels' side. I am beyond shocked at this so-called Black Manosphere. And I'm talking about even it's even other dudes outside the manosphere that I'm looking at, and their reactions is basically, "Oh yeah, man, it's about time Corey Holcomb gets humbled, and man, Corey Holcomb's been running his mouth for too long." And I'm like, I had no idea Corey Holcomb hurt this many people's feelings. You know what I mean? It's some interesting stuff, man. It's some really interesting stuff. Um, I'm it's I'm like in so I tuned into the free agent lifestyle yesterday, and Coach Greg Adams held a poll, and he was like, "Who do you think is going to win this lawsuit?" And most people were saying Anton is going to win the lawsuit, and most people in the chat were saying that Corey Holcomb was in the wrong here, and most people in the chat were saying Anton Daniels was the smart. Oh man, he's doing a power move. He's playing smart. And I was shocked. I was looking at that chat and I was shocked. And Angry Man channel, his audience, same, obviously same thing. They're doing the same. I'm just shocked. I'm shocked at the so-called manosphere, the so-called black manosphere, specifically the black manosphere. I'm not going to say the manosphere in general, but specifically the so-called Black Manospherians. Um, I'm not only shocked but disappointed at their support for Anton Daniels. And basically, the people that are supporting Corey Holcomb are not men. It's just regular people that are outside of the so-called manosphere. It's these guys are wow. I just it's words can't describe my disgust. Usually I'm in a more joyous mood. I'll say some things, but these guys, they're not men. They're these people can't be trusted, right? George Golden 5041 says Anton is hiding behind a child and a woman, yet he's the main one talking about manhood. And let's take into account Anton is the same person that likes to talk down on black people, and he says you're not supposed to act like a victim and don't do this and don't do that. Yet, if you read somebody read the paperwork of the lawsuit on YouTube. Shout out to House of Hypocrites. He read the lawsuit there. He's citing racism in his lawsuit. He's citing defamation. It's I'm just like, wow. After telling, black people not to be the victim, and here he is trying to play the race card in his lawsuit. It's beyond. This is something. Wow, you know, it's I don't know what to say. Now, I'll say this in a fair world, this lawsuit is not gonna reach the court. First of all, a defamation lawsuit, I don't know how that's gonna go through. I don't know how that's gonna go through, especially a lot of the stuff in the lawsuit, the stuff that they were complaining that he was complaining about in the lawsuit through his wife and his daughter. Um, these are things that Corey Holcomb said in a musical freestyle. So I'm pretty sure that falls under entertainment. And in the state of California, rap lyrics are protected. They can't use rap lyrics against you. Shout out to Gavin Newsom. Shout out to Gavin Newsom of all people. But anyways, shout out to Corey Porter. Yeah, thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for being patient with me. Pyro the Flame King for $2. He says, "Did you buy them ear pods from the gas station?" I know you're trolling, but I think I did. I don't even remember. I don't even remember. I don't even remember. Corey Porter says Coach Greg Adams is anti-black. I'll say this, I gotta still respect Adams because he showed me a lot of things. Um, I don't think there would be my channel wouldn't be here without Coach Greg Adams, but I'm specifically talking about his fans. It's not him, it's his fans. Coach Greg Adams is personal friends with Anton Daniels, so obviously I didn't expect him to put Anton on blast. He tried in the stream, he tried to stay as neutral as he possibly can, but he's that's his friend. You know what I mean? So I don't expect him to just completely, abandon him. But it's the fans. It's the fans. Now that's still a reflection on Coach Greg Adams. It is what it is. Um, like I said, I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I'm like, we're pro. I'm like, so people are pro men hiding behind their wife and their daughter to indirectly sue somebody. And then these are the same people that complain about their baby moms suing them via child support court. their ex-wives, suing them via alimony, etc. These are the same people crying about this stuff, and you're supporting a man doing this to another man like that. Wow, wow, you know. But at the same time, like I said, I didn't know Corey Holcomb really offended that many people. I didn't know Corey Holcomb offended that many people. Like I didn't know. Like I really didn't know. I'm like people. Like I even saw like even this dude that I liked that I like on Jeff Teague's podcast throwing shots. I'm like I'm like what happened? You know what I mean? It's crazy to me, man. It's wild. Like it's wild, you know. But like I said, I still gotta have respect for Coach Greg Adams. Same way I still have respect for Hammerhand, right? People on this channel know they might not know who Hammerhand is for for the new people coming into this channel. Like there's things that Hammerhand has gone down the road. I'm like, okay, I can't support that, but I gotta respect them because they put me on to a lot of game. They said a lot of things that I related to while I was in my early 20s. Um, I'm talking about invaluable game, which I have used to protect myself, right? So I have to always have respect for the OGs, even if they're going down a different type of road. Um, Corey Porter says the sad part is Coach Greg Adams steals Corey Holcomb's jokes on his live stream. Okay, here's the thing with Coach Greg Adams. People do steal from him, but he's one of those guys. He's going down that Tommy Sotomayor path, meaning you know how Tommy Sotomayor he thinks everybody's stealing from him, right? So Coach Greg Adams is kind of going down that same road where he'll say something and he'll think that he invented it or he thinks that he came up with it. But for example, he said he thinks that Corey Holcomb stole his jokes. But I'm like the stuff that he thinks that Corey Holcomb stole. I'm like Corey Holcomb said this decades, literally decades ago, over a decade ago at least. You know, but unfortunately, you know, that's I'm not gonna call Coach Greg Adams delusional. I'm not gonna do that. But he just doesn't know much about Corey Holcomb's work. And a lot of these people they might not know like even people I don't even because people most people don't watch the Corey Holcomb 5150 show. Actually, let me not say that. Most people know of it, but people don't watch the full live streams. So you can tell because they'll call Corey Holcomb a liberal, they'll call him a SJW, which he's the complete opposite of, right? So people think that Corey Holcomb, just because he doesn't like Orange Man, that makes him a liberal, right? You know, that's very lazy thinking. Very lazy thinking. Oh, Reaper. By the way, Reaper, do you want if you want, I would like to hear I would like to hear what you have to say about this. If you want, if you want. Because if need be, I can just let me see if I can do this. Click my Instagram link and then send me a text via Instagram and I will send you and then I will send you the StreamYard link if you want to hop on. So shout out to Reaperell in the chat. Let me see something. Sector. So yeah, shout out to Pyro Man. He knocks says gas station AirPods goes. Yeah. Um, George Golden 5041 says, and I'll be honest, I do not like Corey Holcomb. However, Anton is a hypocrite because he attacks women and children. Exactly. It's not like I said, this is not a you need to like Corey Holcomb episode. I swear on my life, this is not that. It's just the principle of what Anton is doing. hiding behind your wife and your daughter to drop a lawsuit on another man for doing the same stuff that you do, just the principle of it, you know what I mean? You know, like I said, I thought nothing. Look, Pyro, Pyro. I thought this is actually a personal message to Pyro right now. Pyro, I thought nothing else was gonna shock me. You know, remember when the Andrew Wilson fanboys attacked the stream and they were defending stepdaddyism, right? And I was just shocked at the Andrew Wilson fans defending him. And I said I would never be, I don't think anything is going to top that. This topped it. This clearly topped it. Um, you know, this is some wild work. So King Pick Six says, is this an actual photo of him? He looks like Rick Ross. Yes, this is an actual photo of Anton Daniels, before the fame. This was in his credit card, fraud days. This is in his uh, the this is before the YouTube. This is before the YouTube. This is Anton before the YouTube clout, before he had money to pay for side chicks. You know what I mean? So, um, like I said, it's wild work, mind you. I want you to see. I want you to see something. It's very like it's interesting. It's very few like the people that are defending Corey. None of them are in the manosphere. Isn't that interesting? Or the so-called black manosphere. Even Hoaz O'Shea Duke Jackson. Even Hoaz O'Shea Duke Jackson taking not necessarily taking Anton's side, but basically celebrating at the possibility of Corey Holcomb being in legal trouble. This is like I said, this is some very interesting stuff, you know. But let me show you guys something. Let me take this whole ass nigga off the screen because his face is irritating me. Let me take him off the screen. So I want to show you something because I had no idea. Like I said, I had no idea that Corey Holcomb really pissed off that many people. I'm talking about all of the Corey Holcomb defenders. None of them are in the manosphere. That's wild. The so-called black manosphere. And let's be honest about what the black manosphere is. Let me just keep it a buck. This is what the black manosphere is. These are a bunch of dudes who think there's something that they're not. And the actuality is they're madly in love with black women. Let's keep it. They're madly in love with black women, and they're willing to do, and they wish beyond reasonable doubt that things worked out with them and their queens. That's all it is. Bunch of simps trying to work beyond what beyond doubt to work things out with their sisters. That's all they are. Every other video, black woman this, black woman that, black, bruh. Every other video, they talking about what black women are doing. This black man's life changed because bruh. Everybody's having a problem with their bitch. Everybody. Every everybody. If people if For the people that don't notice what life is doing, everybody's having problems with a dish of all races. Everybody, so much so basically is everybody's doing a switcheroo. Everybody's doing a switcheroo. Seeing black dudes with white girls, white dudes with black or Hispanic or Asian. Everybody's doing a switcheroo. Everybody got their pros and cons. The same ninjas in the black manosphere complaining about what black women are doing are accepting the same level of abuse, if not more, from a different race of women. Let's just keep. We're just gonna have to start keeping it a buck now, because I'm really tired of really the crying about what black women are doing. I'm really kind of tired of it. And people might say I'm biased because I didn't really have OD problems with B dubs growing up. Not really, not like that. God has blessed me enough for me to see the good and evil of every, single demographic, men, females, kids, adults. Oh man. Harold said even his older photos make him look like a skin. Yeah, the nigga look like a skin. Let me bring up his face again. He looked like if I see a nigga like this come up to me, I already know he's either gonna bother me or ask me for some money. You know what I mean? Trying to sell a timeshare or something. Let's keep it a buck. George Golden 5041 says, and another thing about that sector, they're quick to bash black rap hip hop culture. However, when you watch their videos or channels, they are dressed in such attire. Let's yeah, thank you for that. That's that. Dude, these niggas watch. You know what? Because I don't have loyalties to Kevin Samuels like that, so I'm gonna just keep these dudes watch two Kevin Samuels videos, and these niggas think that because they put on a suit, I'm not gonna say no names. They think they're telling. Oh my God. Let me just leave that alone. Let me leave that alone. These guys will. Oh, I'm talking about. They think being conservative means bashing black people all day or bashing black women all day. That's what they think being conservative is. King Pig Six says it's sad when guys didn't get women when they were younger. Some go crazy. This is true. Unfortunately, this is it's sad that unfortunately when you take a look back at at a lot of these things, it's really that simple, unfortunately. Specifically with Anton, you can tell he was a loser growing up. Not necessarily a loser. He wasn't a loser. He just wasn't. He was blah. He was just a blah. He had no talents. He had no nigga couldn't hoop. Nigga couldn't play sports. Nigga couldn't do no music. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of them too are quick to bash, the black entertainment sphere because they didn't really have any talent. No disrespect. It's not really out of concern for the community because if it was really out of concern, they would also call out toxic culture in the Hispanic community. They would also call out the weirdos in the suburbs. But then that's not, they're trying to pander to that crowd. You know what I mean? They think like, oh man. But anyways, let me leave that alone. King Pick Six says taking photos of Mika at a basketball game when you are married. to try to prove you get women is lame. Yeah, like there's all of those videos are deleted off of Mika's page, by the way. So also a lot of the anger that Anton, well, not necessarily anger, a lot of the frustration where Anton is directing his frustration at Corey is because Corey exposed him being with his side chick at the wrong time. You know, that's that's another part of this nonsense. You know what I mean? Hurricane Peril, 2464, I'm not sure what that means. Corey Porter says 19, Corey Porter 1978 says the sisters circle no on their love letters in high school and they've never recovered mentally. Like, I'm one of those people, like, look, if somebody doesn't want me, just go for somebody else. I'm not gonna sit there and wonder why, okay, this person doesn't want me, right? And just stick on the person that didn't want me. I'm gonna try to make things work with somebody that does. And unfortunately, a lot of them are showing why, not necessarily that they why they didn't get chose, but why they were lames. No disrespect. Mind you, like I said, I went to both of the schools, elementary and high school, primarily white people in those schools. I went to school in mostly the suburbs my whole life. Um, Middle school was mostly, it was very diverse, mostly, I would say, yeah, mostly black. But, I didn't really have those kind of problems with B dubs, right? Um, Now, here's the interesting part. Even on my channel, I've made probably like 4 videos about black women, and that got like the most pull because you already know black women are the most sensitive. You know what I mean? If you can't say nothing about black women. Like they're the most sensitive. So if you say like one thing about, black women, or you'll try to, like, I remember, like, even I made a video about Charleston White saying why black men are choosing white women in high school. And then I explained why this was happening. And and I said that basically black women can't really complain about this because it's not even about personality or no, I said it's not about physical attraction, it's just about the politics of it. And the black women and the black men were in my comment section, they were so mad. Like, even I remember I made another video similar to that, and it was a Corey Holcomb fan that tuned into my channel, and she was like, "I didn't know this was a black woman bashing channel." I'm like, where were you when I made the video? When I said white women age like bananas, when I said Hispanic women be in the streets and Asian women be poisoning their husband and stuff, and then she was like, "Oh, okay." It was so fun. The interaction was so funny. I think with her specifically, I was like, "What were you?" I'm like, "Were you there when I said white women age like the terribly?" And she was like, "Oh, never mind. Continue." But yeah, there's a lot of those dudes unfortunately are proving the stereotype where they feel like black women only did them dirty, and they're still holding on to that. And like you're seeing it. It's basically undeniable at this point. After a certain age, shouldn't you get over that kind of stuff? Maybe because I'll say with me personally, I've had a lot more physically traumatizing things happen to me physically, where I'm talking about no women are even involved in those situations. And I think about those. Like I don't even like for me, high school was such a blur, and maybe because it was mostly white school and there was only a few black women there. Maybe that's what I'm a little bit biased, so I didn't. But I'm like, y'all still holding on to that high school shit, man. Come on, man. After a certain age, you should understand why things are a certain way. And to move on with your life, you should just move on just to move on, not so you can spite somebody. You know, King Pick Six says he was a loser. He says apparently he got beat up during Thanksgiving. Yeah, I remember. I remember Anton was talking about, oh, I got into a fight with my cousins. I'm like, what kind of loser do you have to be to where you're getting into a physical fight with your family members at Thanksgiving? Like, what, bro? Mind you, my family members, a lot of them watch my channel, mind you. A lot of them, believe it or not, a lot of them watch my channel. And even when I was a kid, I've always kind of spoke my mind. They know I got a mouth on me. No homo. They know that. And it's never these I don't know, these guys are in their 40s and they're talking about politics with their family members. I mean, these gotta be the dumbest. These are the dumbest ninjas ever, bro. Like I said, like Anton, he the type to watch a Kevin Samuels video and then he shares it with his coworkers and then gets shocked that he gets suspended. You know, these people, they think they're doing something. Like they watch a Kevin Samuels video or one of these people. They watch a Daily Rap Crew video and they share it with their black female coworkers so they can get quote unquote triggered. And then they're shocked that their paychecks are missing and they're shocked that they get called into HR. I don't know what's wrong with these people, boy. Pyro said these hoe ass ninjas still screaming the manosphere is dead financially. Like Ninja, we get it. You hate the manosphere. You can't be too talking about it. Let me see. King Pick Six says he's already is looking at these lawsuits he's paying lawyers for and all this extra stuff because he doesn't want to be himself. It's sad where um it's sad where he's willing to do all of this. And I'm talking about he has people behind him, meaning, like I said, most of the people in CGA's chat, they were pro Anton. And I'm like, aren't y'all the same people that get mad at women doing the same thing? What's the difference between what Anton is doing and what a bitter baby mama is doing? What's the difference? You and Corey went at it. Things didn't work out. Y'all almost crashed out on air. Corey exposed you being with your side chick. You then proceed to go on your stream and said Corey ducks the fade. He ducked the fade, and now you're suing him for what? You're saying you're suing him for defamation. And not only you're suing him, you're using your daughter and your mother's name to do it. So your name is not on the paperwork. And people are people are supporting this. They're supporting this. It's like I said, it's a lot of whole ass niggas in the manosphere, right? I thought it was just the Andrew Wilson fanboys, right? On the on the white side. Nah, it's a whole bunch of whole ass niggas on this side too as well. I'm pretty sure if I told an Andrew Wilson fanboy, look, this is what this nigga is doing, I think they would be on Corey's side because they're like, wait, so they have beef with each other. They both exchange words. Corey Holcomb talks. He makes a joke about his family. Anton has spoken reckless about multiple people's families. But now he's going to sue Corey, but not directly, but indirectly by using his wife's name, his daughter's name. If this goes to trial, his daughter is going to have to take the stand, and then his daughter is going to have to lie on the stand because Anton Daniels' uncle already exposed Anton by accident. He said that his daughter didn't even know about this situation, was what was going on, what Corey Holcomb said. It's you willing to do all of that to what, to prove a point? That's what Anton, he's not, this is not even about whatever, like, it's not even, I don't even think it's about money with Anton. He's just trying to embarrass Corey. That's all he's trying to do. Like when somebody's trying to bring you to court like that, they're trying to full-fledged, destroy you, embarrass you, and expose you. It's not even about winning. They're just trying to put you through the system. Now, from what I was told, I thought the people of the Manosphere were against this kind of behavior, particularly from women, particularly baby mothers, wives, ex-wives, etc., from doing that to their husbands. But it's okay for you to do it because you're feeling a certain type of way. Hmm. It's very interesting. Pyro said, I'll never let that issue go. If somebody did something to me 15 years ago, I'm still going to hold on to the grudge. That's hilarious. King Pig Six says, I wonder what Anton is going to do when Trump leaves off. I'm sorry, when Orange Man leaves office. It's interesting. Mind you, if liberals came up with the accusations that the normies try to put on Corey for these past 2 months, they would say it's a conspiracy to take down Orange Man. But they're doing the same thing to Corey Holcomb as we speak. It's like I said, these wannabe black conservatives are hilarious. These yeah, I call them these wannabe black conservatives. King Pick Six says, I don't think anything's gonna happen, and this is a waste of money on lawyers. Oh yeah, of course, it's a waste of money on lawyers. By the way, shout out to Lakeisha on YouTube, a black woman, mind you. She's not necessarily defending Corey Holcomb, but the way she's
Attention to
the way she's speaking on the situation with the Corey Holcomb situation, Anton Daniels, and her calling out Anton Daniels for being a massive hypocrite, and like for her to be able to call this out, but not nobody else in the so-called Black manosphere, it's quite alarming. It's quite alarming, you know. But how do you, like, even with Anton Daniels, how can you back somebody? How can you support somebody where how can you support someone that calls their paying fan base bag chasers? Anton Daniels has a program where it's like you pay whatever, whether for Patreon or whatever, and his supporters are called bag chasers. He calls them his fellow bag chasers. What kind of man calls himself a bag chaser? This is something strippers call themselves. But like I said, when personal feelings are involved, logic goes out the window. Like these people, they're really showing their hand. And like I said, I owe this is somebody that you might not like though, George Golden. I owe Undead Chronic another apology. He told me about Angry Man. Told and now because I remember because I know Chronic he don't fuck with Coach Greg Adams at all, right? And I've given CGA a pass. I mean, this isn't like, let me keep it clear. I'm not dissing CGA here at all. I'm just saying because of his connection with Anton Daniels, unfortunately, he's backing a scammer. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is going to make Coach Greg Adams look bad. So, so unfortunately, because Coach Greg Adams is backing a scammer, now that's gonna bleed onto him. Especially not like now. Imagine if this lawsuit gets thrown out. If the judge throws out the lawsuit, it's like it doesn't even see the light. What are people gonna do? Like imagine if this law, because I don't think it's gonna get thrown out because what people don't understand with lawsuits, it's not necessarily about right or wrong. It's just about how much money can we make off this. But if they throw this out, do you know how bad it's gonna make Anton look? Like, I'll say, like, Lakeisha, she's just going off the logic. If you watch Lakeisha's video or her reaction, she doesn't even think this lawsuit is even gonna go through. I disagree. I think it is gonna go through because America and their court systems is just off of they're just going off of how much money they can make. But if this lawsuit gets thrown out, or say if it does go to trial and Corey wins, I'm like, Anton, you willing to be a to hold an L in the court? That's gonna completely destroy you. But people like I said, if you look at the comment sections, the CGA's comment section, Angry Man's comment section, they're pro Anton. I don't understand. Even before the beef, right? Even before the Corey Holcomb and Anton blow up. I had Anton Daniels on my swap list, meaning he was gonna crash out in a major way, right? Because I felt like he was a mark, and a lot of these conservatives in general, black and white, they're marks. And I thought he was gonna find himself in trouble, especially if he's in a situation where he still has a marriage. Like he can find himself in trouble, losing a lot if he makes the wrong move. So even before I felt like Anton Daniels wasn't standing on solid foundation, I never really saw why he had the support that he did, you know. But watching this unfold, it's not even about Anton anymore. I'm really looking at the people of the Black Manosphere space, and I'm really looking at these people. I'm like, y'all are not solid. I'm like, I'm sitting there like, y'all are not solid I'm like, at all. Even like with the research, even the research that people did on Corey Holcomb, I'm like, do you guys not remember what the pro-blacks used to be like back in the day? Because unfortunately, the pro-blacks of today are so left-wing. People forget that the pro-blacks of the 90s, they were neither left or right. They were of the mindset of everybody's racist, which is still a bad mindset, but they never were attached to anyone politically. It's just that the pro-blacks of today are super left-wing, so they just automatically think that Corey Holcomb's a liberal. I'm like, nah, that's not it. But anyways, this is some interesting stuff though. This is some interesting stuff. George Golden 5041 says, but some of these wannabe black conservatives do call Orange Man zaddy. What's that about? I've seen that. I've seen that. It's a lot of people want to identify themselves with a dominant society so bad, you know. But it is what it is. It's just Some people they kind of have that mentality. They will attach themselves to whoever is winning or who's the most popular. That's just, a lot of people are, they're built like that. There's nothing I can do about that. Pyro says angry man is annoying. Well, angry man, I have no trust in him only because people did warn me. It's just I didn't watch him that much, so I didn't have that much of an attachment for me to make an opinion on Angry Man. But like I said, I'm gonna leave that dude alone. King Pick Six says, I don't understand why Anton, who discusses politics, wants to be on Corey Holcomb, especially knowing Corey is a liberal comedian. Well, I'll say this: comedians in general are liberal, but Corey is the opposite of a liberal. He's the complete opposite of a liberal. In fact, Corey Holcomb, even I'll say even more than Patrice O'Neill, could Corey might be the most based comedian that you know of, believe it or not. He might be the most, I'm talking about even more based than these Caucasian comedians, like way more conservative. Most of these so-called conservatives are scared to death to say half the things that Corey say. I'm talking about scared to, they wouldn't even say that. Maybe Jesse Lee Peterson, maybe, maybe Fuentes. Corey has said some things that most outside of maybe, yeah, like maybe the Africans, the Ugandans will say similar. The stuff that Corey Holcomb has said about the LGBT community, um, the small hats, Hollywood, women, kids, men. Corey Holcomb doesn't pull any punches, you know. And by the way, the so-called conservatives of the so-called black conservatives, what they don't even understand is there is another level where you have people, there's a whole certain group of people that are mad at Orange Man, not because that those people that are mad at him are liberal. No, they're mad at Orange Man because he's not right wing enough. What a lot of the so-called black conservatives that they don't even understand is most of the people in the so-called MAGA sphere, or sorry, the MAGA people, these are just old school liberals. They're not even conservatives themselves. These are old school liberals. It's just everything is so left wing now that anything that is just a little bit right is considered right wing. George Golden 5041 says agreed. Usually the conservatives who talk the most about morals are the ones with a whole bunch of skeletons in their closet or are hypocrites. Exactly. I always say this, all these so-called crazy, liberal college girls that people complain about, most of them came from conservative families. Not only that, a lot of these politicians, they caught one of these conservative politicians, I forgot what his name is, but they caught him trying to cross-dress. I forgot what the politician's name is. He just got caught. A lot of them are the biggest hypocrites. I would say most of them are the biggest hypocrites. You know, um, enough. I don't even need to say anything more. Anyway, let me check something for you real quick. And I'll say this: Anton Daniels has some nerve to cite racism in the lawsuit. He has some nerve. Let me check out Coach Greg Adams. live stream real quick. I just want to check the comment section. Oh, okay. The comment section looks regular now. Okay, so the comment section is looking regular now. That's good. That's good. But yeah, if you, I'm talking about the chat because I watched the live CGA show. If you look at the chat, that chat was wild. I was like, whoa, damn. Let me go on Angry Man channel real quick. But yeah, and also Angry Man has been like doing way too many streams on Corey Holcomb. I'm like, I got it, Anton Daniels, your boy, but damn, this is a little bit. If you look at Angry Man's channel, it's like multiple, if several Corey Holcomb live streams, even willing to lie about his viewerships. You know, I'm like, oh my God, this is a little bit weird. I don't know, maybe Angry Man brought his wife to a Corey Holcomb show and she she got mad at him. That that happens a lot. I've been to a Corey Holcomb show. Obviously, man, anytime it's some girlfriends that get bought by their dudes and their dudes start laughing and then their girl gives them the Jada Pinkett stare, the Jada Pinkett stare. You know, I've seen that. You know, it's interesting. Yeah, that's true. Everyone is milking the situation, but it's interesting. Just showing the you look at the comments. Corey's a damn idiot. Craig is the worst friend. I have nothing against Corey, but why isn't he listening? You have somebody supporting Poetic Flacco. I don't. Corey such a hater, et cetera, et cetera. Let me see if I can bring this up. Yeah, like I said, shout out to Lakeisha. I'm pretty sure Carcino's gonna support Corey here. Um, Shout out to Carcino for life. So the lead attorney has beef with Corey. Now, what's interesting is this: no matter the disagreement between, the lead attorney and Corey, that's between them, right? Corey felt like the lead attorney um, was trying to do him dirty, and I actually agree with Corey on that. But forget all that. How can you take if you're a so-called part of the Manosphere? How do you take a lawyer's side, right? Like in a situation like this. This is a former divorce lawyer, meaning he has helped destroy families. But you're willing to take his side just because you don't like Corey. It's like, what the fuck? This is this is crazy work. This is diabolical work. You know what I mean? Because I remember somebody had asked me, what do you think about the in terms of the beef between Corey Holcomb and the lead attorney? And all I said is this, look, I don't know what they got going on. I think Corey felt like Lead attorney was sliding him and was giving Anton Daniels the blueprint to sue him. And he was technically, Corey was right because look what happened, right? But even all I said was this: ultimately, I do not trust lawyers at all. I don't trust lawyers. I don't trust them. Same way you see how like OD, like I don't trust cops. I don't trust lawyers. You see, it's easy to say I don't trust cops. He says maybe the lead attorney can show up to court and defend him. Nah, because the lead attorney and Corey, they kind of going through a little rift. But because Corey beef with the lead attorney in the beginning was he felt like because he invited the lead attorney on the show, he felt that because of the video leaking out on Corey Holcomb, the video between him and the female comedian, he felt that the lead attorney was giving the enemy too much of a blueprint to where he felt like you're trying to give the female comedian the blueprint to sue him. Right. Now, I see where Corey's coming from, and I actually agreed with him, right? Um, but at the same time, I will say this is where Corey's gonna have to this is where Corey's gonna have to take responsibility. I would have never had invited the lead attorney in the first place because I don't trust lawyers. I don't trust lawyers, bro. You know what I mean? I don't trust actors. I don't trust lawyers. I don't trust, you can't trust entertainers, period. And I'm not saying lawyers fall under entertainer, but they're pretty damn close, you know. Nod to the Godfather. He says, ain't no party like an Anton Daniels party. B. Watkins says, the so-called honorable conservative gentlemen are the first to hide women's crimes. These are so facts. Like this, mind you, B. Watkins, you should have seen the chat on the live stream for CGA. All of a sudden, all of a sudden, these people are for protecting women and kids and shit. Meanwhile, they were behind Anton Daniels, suing Corey, and hiding behind his wife and daughter's name to do it. You know, it's just like now I gotta put the CGA fans, and like I said, I have respect for CGA. I don't think there would be I don't think my channel would not be here without CGA, Hammerhand, Chronic, right, et cetera, et cetera. These people, Tommy Sotomayor, all these people, right? But seeing the fans' reaction to this lawsuit and them supporting Anton Daniels, I'm literally like, who are these niggas? Who are these niggas, right? How is it that you have people outside of the manosphere that are defending Corey and none of the people in the black, I'm talking about not the manosphere, the black manosphere, right? How are everybody outside of the black manosphere are defending Corey, but all the people in the manosphere are defending Anton, a, a clear grifter, a con man. I'm like, you know, but like I said, even though I mentioned all these people, at the end of the day, there would not be no Chris Mike channel without Corey Holcomb. Straight up. There would be no Chris Mike without Corey Holcomb. I wouldn't even have found people the algorithm would even have led me here without Corey Holcomb's comedy, without Patrice O'Neal, without Corey Holcomb, without to a lesser extent Tom Likas, right? So I think there should be a level of not necessarily just respect, but a level of loyalty to the people that took the bullets first, right? Oh, Chris, you can even say Chris Rock and Bill Burr. You could, but I'll say specifically Chris Rock, right? Without them putting these ideas, like without them hiding their message behind the comedy. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't trust journalists. I don't trust reporters. Shout out to Pyro. Yeah, I don't trust no journalists, no reporters. I don't trust the media in general. I'm like, yeah, the media, I don't trust the media at all. Like anything they say, I literally I gotta double check it. B. Watson says, how many men of honor and conservative values and logic and reason are the first to turn to lynching a young boy accused of harassing someone? This is true. This is historical facts, right? B. Watson says Superman was propaganda to normalize the stereotype of the so-called honorable. I don't know if, because I don't know historically which cartoon came first or which thing came first to normalize the journalists, to make the journalists look like, or what TV show to make it look like journalists were about honor. But Superman was one of the first in terms of like popular um, cartoon slash TV shows to where I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that wanted to be journalists because of the Superman story. You know what I mean? So you might be onto something there. You might be onto something. I can't really fact check that, but I'll lean on your understanding on that. I'll lean on your opinion. George Golden 5041 says it is kind of pathetic. The next thing you know, we're gonna see Anton Daniels and Angry Man with matching friendship bracelets. King Pig 6 says the problem is anyone can get online and call themselves a journalist or claim the work they are doing is informative. Like, uh, what's her name? Oh yeah, I remember I did a whole stream where I was calling a lot of these female journalists out not for not doing like actual work and really using their platform so they can get basically so they can get chose. So you'll see like the female reporters, especially the new ones coming up, basically using their platforms to see if they can get an athlete. And I'm like, this is actually really bad. Like, this is not a good precedent to set because I already don't like most of the male reporters in general. And now you, specifically when it comes to the sports journalists, I was calling them out, the Joy Taylors of the world. Now they just caught Diana Rossini. I did a stream about them. My last stream was about Diana Rossini. There's some decent female journalists that put in good work, but Diana Rossini just yeah, Joy Taylor, Diana Rossini. It's not it's not them necessarily just them sleeping with certain people to get their information because that's always been a thing. But specifically with Joy Taylor, how evil she was with her position. where she said if the Fox executive doesn't do what I want them to do, if he tries to fire me, I'm gonna put a great accusation on him. That's evil, bro. That's just evil. You know what I mean? The issue is that what I see from the black manosphere, it's more to simp for white women and Latinas and Asians and express their frustration against black women. Yeah, exactly. So B. Watkins, I said this earlier. Yo, I said this earlier. I was like, you know what? Let me just keep it a buck with you guys. A lot of you people in the black manosphere, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of just I'm like, let's keep it a buck. A lot of y'all in the so-called black manosphere, it's just your platform is just there just to see if you can get a rise out of black women. When the reality is we have an American woman problem. It doesn't matter the race, right? All the stuff that you complain about black women doing, I've seen plenty of Latina women do, white women, Asian women, dyke bitches, you name it. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm talking about their whole channel. Black woman does this, black woman does this. It's like every single other video they're doing this. And you're like, look, yeah, black women are a problem. But I'm like, is that all you're gonna talk about? God damn. I'm like, are we not gonna talk about Latina women, them being loud, them being disrespectful, them being the craziest group of women, them being the most violent at times? Get on Latina women's bad side. You're gonna see who the most violent group of women are. The biggest 304s. I'm like, so we're gonna talk about what black women are doing and this and blah, what they're not doing, and then we're gonna give Latina women a pass for them being crazy. We're gonna give white women a pass for them using the system, the using the same system, the so-called patriarchy, but then they like that, but then they'll use the patriarchy to get what they want out of you in a divorce court, right? So we're not gonna talk about that. But because they're quote unquote nicer, because white women are quote unquote nicer, because they smile at you a little bit more. Nigga, get the fuck out of here. A white woman would never. All right, Nate. Good luck with that. Good luck with that kind of mentality. Good luck with that. You said Danica Marie does great work. Who's Danica Marie? Hold on for a second. Let me search that up. Danica Marie. Oh, I know who she is, but I don't really watch her like that. So I can't give you an opinion on her. I don't watch Danica Marie. But didn't she had something what what didn't she and Anton have a little beef? Didn't she call out Anton at one point? But I don't know much of Danica to make an opinion. Like I said, I'll say this, the only woman that I have I can say that I have a legit respect for in the YouTube sphere in terms of them speaking for men's issues is Daphne on Twitter and Kendra from the Crimson Cure. These are the only two women that I can kind of get behind. The reason why, because Daphne from Twitter, she actually calls the police on scammer bitches. Like she actually be snitching on them hoes, getting them hoes in trouble. Daphne was the reason why the brick lady got arrested. If it wasn't for Daphne, the brick lady would have gotten away with what she got away with. Like now I know her catchphrase, was it the queen of accountability? Cringe. I know, very cringe. But she's actually put in work. Most of these other hoes, they just talking and accepting super chats. Men will, like, she will actually have men request, can you please look into this woman? She's stalking me. She will actually look into the woman and get her arrested. Like, I respect that. I can respect that kind of work. And the Crimson Cure, I respect her because she came up with a term. Um, I think she came up with it last I checked. So this is what I'm writing on. The term hyena, right? When talking about the so-called matriarchy in the black community when it comes to describing black women, right? In the matriarchy that's being ran in the black community. I thought that was clever, right? I think that's a clever and perfect, um, how do I say it? The perfect analogy. And women are not usually, like when it comes to analogies, women are not. That's not women's like strong suit. But that was the perfect. That might be the one of the most perfect analogies I ever heard. Right? He said, that's not true. I'll pay you 1 mil if you can share me a clip from a guy like Tommy where he talks ill of black women. That's funny. CB 12 3, yeah, CB 12345 says Anton is such a sore loser. Yeah, like that's what like people. I don't even think it's about the money with this one. It's just hurt. This is just hurt feelings, straight hurt feelings. Because in one stream he's talking about Corey Holcomb's broke. He ain't got no money. I looked at his paperwork, and then now you're still trying to sue him. So I'm like, if he's broke, why are you still trying to actively sue him if you know you're not going to really get any money? This is just he's trying to embarrass him. He's trying to destroy his reputation and um, chip away at his credibility. And if you're a person with clout, you can do that with almost anybody, especially if you're a person with clout. But unfortunately, people will eventually catch on to what's happening and what's happening. And for the people that supported Anton, you guys are gonna have to look at yourself in the mirror when he finally gets like completely exposed for what he was trying to do, trying to orchestrate a campaign to see another black man lose. You know what I mean? It's very interesting. CB 12 1 2 3 4 5 says people like Anton can't be trusted. He says 1 minute he may seem cool, but when something doesn't go his way, he has a problem with you. Exactly. B. Watson says, as a Hispanic, I don't give Latinas a pass. Even the most pleasant ones can have very vile mood swings. Just ask my ex. He says, it's why I kind of stopped watching accountable commentary. He over idealized Becky. Well, here's the thing. And shout out to you, B. Watkins. And I said, shout out to like I said, the Latino men. And yeah, I'll say specifically the Latino men and the Asian men are the only two groups of people that haven't cried when I started talking about their women. These are the two. Like I'll say something about Latino women, and then the Latino men like, oh no, 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 they do that, they do that. If I say something about white women, right? When I said something about Riley Gaines, all white dudes in the comment section crying. When I said something about black women, all the wannabe the pro black the pro blickety blacks had something to say, right? Yeah, the Latino men are the only ones really, and the Asian men to a lesser extent. I'll say, yeah, Asian men too. These are the only two groups of men that haven't cried when I said the truth about their women, you know. But yeah, this whole thing where you'll have a group of black men, right? And B. Watkins, I'm assuming that you're probably Afro-Latino, even though I could be wrong. Well, whether or not it doesn't matter. But this whole thing about where you'll have black dudes really over idealize the idea of Becky, you know, this thing that, white women would never, that kind of thing. I can't get behind that. The reason why is because most of my schooling years, I've been around Becky's most of my schooling years, and I don't get the hype. I don't get the hype. Now, I've said this on this channel from age 18 through 23, especially when you're an 18 to 23-year-old yourself, they're amazing, right? But after 23, it's basically downhill from there. Like, no disrespect, no disrespect. After like after when it comes to white women, like after their 20s, long term, you got to think long term. Like long term, they ain't it, man. Long term, you got to get like me. Like if I were to get a white woman, right? Like say if I had to marry a white woman, it would definitely not be a blonde because I gotta think long term, right? You have to think long term. Like yeah, gingers age very badly. Like redheads age really badly. Blondes, they're hot for like 2 years tops, and then that's it. After that, you're dragging around an expensive piece of anger that's just gonna nag at you all day for not making enough money, and she's gonna passive aggressively nag you to death. Let me see. King pick six says the crazy part is even though Anton's wife, Rita, is mid, I don't think Anton could handle dating a woman who looks as good as Mika. He strikes me as someone who would get insecure. Yeah, like people don't even understand. Like, even, forget about just the physical. You know how, let's call out the men here. You know how men, particularly, or I'll say even black men, but men will say, "Oh man, I want my wife to be friendly and all this stuff." Most men can't even handle a friendly woman as a wife. They're never you, they're always gonna think their wife is cheating. Like there's a lot of dudes that say, "Man, I want my wife to be friendly and this and blah blah blah." I'm like, okay, there's pros and cons to that because even if your wife's ugly, if she's a friendly type of person, especially if even if she's fat, if she's friendly, if she always got a smile on her face, dudes is just gonna want to be around her. If she has a good personality, dudes is just gonna want to be around her. And a lot of dudes are not gonna be able to handle that. So that's another part of the game. So forget just the looks, because most dudes they can't they don't if they were to bag say an 8 out of 10, right, a 9 out of 10. Number one, they want to be able to afford that, and then number two, they're not going to be able to even handle the attention that she's going to get. And even I'll even say forget the looks, forget the personality. If it's just a light-skinned girl with a fat ass, she's gonna get, oh please. That bitch, hold on for a second. If the bitch just she all she gotta be is a 6 out of 10 and not be fat. Hold on, let me see. Do I have her picture? Hold on. Let me see this. All she gotta do is look like this. That's it. If you're gonna look like this, and she got a fat ass, please don't let her work at Lowe's or Home Depot or a warehouse. Don't let her work at a warehouse. Oh my God, them niggas is gonna be. Oh my God, she don't even need to be pretty. Let her look like this, just regular light skinned chick with a. She could have a whole bunch of tattoos on her body. It's gonna be a whole bunch of ninjas on her. Shoot, even dude, even the ones that look like take Travis Hunter's girl for example. Even if this woman is mean, she could. She's if she works at Home Depot, trust me, she's gonna get all the attention from the dudes. Don't let her have a cute little shape on her, please. Them dudes is thirsty, thirsty. I know. Sorry, I know people are too predictable at this point. Way too predictable. I'm sorry. I've seen too much. Oh man, this is some funny stuff. King Pick Six says, I like Danika's personality, which you can see in her body. Look, if you're King Picks, if you're attracted to Danica, just say that. Which is nothing wrong with that. But look, when it comes to the women um, relaying the information to me, I'm really looking for someone with that's really giving some information, that's really putting something new out there, that's really helping, you know. So no disrespect to Danica Mary, I don't know her well enough. And there's nothing wrong with being attracted to her. There's nothing wrong with that. We all have our types. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man. Like even like when it comes to Asian women, I realize I have a type when it comes to Asian women. I didn't know, but there's a certain facial structure that I'm looking for when it comes to Asian women. I didn't even know this until recently. It's really it's interesting. It's very interesting. It was this okay. I'll keep it a buck with you. There's a saxophone player that I saw, and I was like, it was an Asian. Oh, I'm being way too specific. But anyways, and I realized that it wasn't just the music. I was like, I'm attracted to her. But it was like the same. I'm like, I'm looking at her, and I'm looking at the last Asian girl that I sent for, and I was like, oh, there's a pattern here. Like, there's a pattern. I'm like, it's that same facial structure. George Golden 5041 says this is true. Daphne puts people feet to the fire with the brick lady incident. And on top of that, I liked how Daphne called out just Pearly things for being a grifter because I don't understand the whole just Pearly hype as well, especially knowing that she Me Too'd a black man and then deleted the video of her admitting to doing this to that man. That's a whole other story for another day. Oh, actually, let me read this comment. Pyro says people who can't understand analogies are low IQ, in my opinion. You can say something to make them understand, and they will say, "Why are you comparing a person to an object?" Or say, "What does that have to do with what we're talking about?" It's almost, yeah, like it's almost like, when you'll have men compare women to cars, and then women will get offended, but it's like it's just an analogy, right? Matt White 1022 says he went on Corey's show insisting on being tough and proving a point, got humbled, and now suing. He's a weirdo for sure. Yeah, like if a white dude did any of the stuff that Anton dude did, we would be calling him all types of weirdos, racist, uh, problem starter. If he was a small hat, we would be like, this is what small hat people do. Act tough and play the victim. This is what we would be doing. And now we have Anton suing Corey and a large sector of the manosphere, I'm sorry, of the black manosphere supporting Anton's actions. It's crazy, crazy. B. Watkins says, I'm just a normal Latino, indigenous, and Spanish mix, though who knows? Oh, so you're like, yeah, I don't want to, I was going to say a real Latino. I'm playing, I'm playing. Oh man. Nah, the real, because technically when you talk about like the real net Latinos that are, where their ancestors are like the people of the Native Americans and stuff like that. The Incas and all these people. The real ones. Nah, I'm playing. P. Watson says I'm just a normal Latino, indigenous, and Spanish mix through, though who knows? Yeah, there's probably some European blood in there. He says the state my mom is from does have an area with lots of black Mexicans. Yeah, there is a spot in Mexico with a lot of dark skinned Mexicans. I forgot where I saw this. It was on YouTube, and they highlighted that portion of people of like the real dark skinned Mexicans. Like those are ninjas. Those are straight ninjas. King Pick Six says once the money dries up, a woman would cheat on Anton. Like, yeah, Anton is the type where he has to continue, like he has to pay. Like he has to, meaning if he's in a whatever type of relationship he's in, whether he's in a regular relationship, well, technically all men have to pay in some way, but like him, even in a marriage, like to keep that marriage, it's there's no he can't even get laid off. If he gets laid off, his broad is leaving, right? Which is basically all men, but at least there would be like a period where your woman would wait. He's in the class of a man where he can't lose his job. He's fucked. He has to keep up the grift no matter what. You know what I mean? There's no off days for him. Pyro said, "Is that easy for light skins and she didn't even have to be loud or act like an idiot? She would be considered a high eight or a max nine." Remember, the rapper Caribou, right? You know when people were saying that, like, yo, she's warehouse fine, right? Right? So you take this woman right here, Caribou. Let me see if I can bring up a picture of Caribou, the rapper, the female rapper. So Caribou, let me see if I can. Hold on. Let me open up. Let me put her on the screen real quick, just to prove a point, right? So a Caribou, right? People say that she's warehouse fine, which is a joke. It's a running joke, right? So she's fine for like, if she works at your job. Yeah, she's fine out of the woman that's working at your job. But really, in real life, when you compare her to other women, she's not even like, she's like at most a five or a six. But at her work, she's like a 10, damn near a 10 for her work spot. If she drives Amazon packages, right? She'd be considered an 8 or a 9 at her job because there's not a whole bunch of broads working at your job in general, or dateable women at your job. But in reality, she's chopped. You know what I mean? Um, hey, could I give another? Nah, I can't give another example. But I seen dudes like say like I remember I was working at a spot. I was working at a spot 2 years ago, and there was this one young lady. She was probably what, about 23, 24. But I remember one of the dudes was OD sipping over her, but she wasn't. But she was ugly, right? But she had a big old ass, right? She had a big old ass, but it was like she wasn't even in shape herself. Like she was like she's just an ugly, chubby girl with a big old ass, right? But she never talked, right? But because there wasn't really a whole bunch of women at the job, really in general, or we did have a bunch of other women, they were all older women. But because she was 23 or 24, because she was young, relatively, there was other dudes after her, right? You know, but the bar is that low, you know what I mean? So um, we always have to take that into consideration. So now imagine if you a light skinned chick, maybe not even in shape, but you got a big old ass and you work at one of these spots where ninjas work at. Oh my God. There's no like she's not gonna even be able to walk at the job without a man at her side. It's gonna be impossible. It's gonna, she can't just walk by herself. She's gonna have a man next to her at some point. It's gonna be impossible. Like guys, like do you get bro, for one of my bands, I considered because it was one woman that I knew that played the keys, right? So I was considering having her as my sub. It was another young man that I was considering, and then I was considering her because she was around my age. And I was like, well, yeah, she does have the skills. She's got this and blah, blah. But I was like, no, because I was like, I don't think my band is mature enough to have her on. They're gonna be simping. And so then I remember I felt bad for thinking this way, right? Because I felt like I was kind of stifling her opportunity until I asked one of the main vocalists, and I asked her, sorry, I asked him, I was like, you know what? Do you think the band is mature enough to have to have an attractive female, right, at the helm, Plankies? Do you think they're mature enough to handle that situation, even if it's for one gig? And he was like, nah, they're not. He just goes, he just completely agreed with me. He's like, oh yeah, don't yeah. He's like, Chris, don't do that. Don't do that. It was and he wasn't even laughing. That's the crazy part. He wasn't even laughing. Here I am, I have a little bit of a grin, and he wasn't even laughing. And usually we joke, we key. Nope. You know, dudes like we like to play tough on here, but most of us are simps. Most of us are simps. It would give him the opportunity. So much so that there's certain women that I would have given helped, but I know they can't even, the people won't even be able to handle it. And what's crazy, this is the crazy part too. The females with actual talent, they're fucked because I know of this one female. She might be the most talented person I've worked with. She's actually gone viral. I don't want to say her name, but I worked with her. And according to her, mind you, because unfortunately she's not conventionally attractive, meaning she's not necessarily in shape. She's black, right? And yeah, she's not conventionally in shape and she's black, right? So even though she's literally the most talented person that that I could think of, people didn't want to give her credit. So she was working with these older dudes, and because she wasn't conventionally attractive and she was a young black girl, she couldn't make any moves until she left our little circuit of Connecticut and she was able to finally blossom when she just took her talents online. And now she's working with A-list, like A-list, musicians, A-list celebrities. You know what I mean? Probably the most talented person I've ever worked with. I had like 2 or 3 gigs with her easily. Probably, she's only like I know I'm speaking a little bit too much, but she's only like 20 or 21 years old. Last I checked, easily probably the most talented person I've ever worked with. I don't even want to say the instrument that she plays because she actually plays multiple instruments. But if I say her main instrument, everybody gonna know. Everybody is going to know who I am talking about. But really, women like her, she's fucked. Like she had to do something herself so she could finally get the shine that she deserved. But if you're like a regular looking chick that's conventionally attractive, even if you're an average musician, men are gonna go out their way to do things for you. It's sad that the world works that way, but that's just how it is, right? D. Watson says, LOL, while fit, feminine, and friendly sounds good to these types. CB 1234.5, she says, majority of dudes like disrespectful women, but guys aren't ready for that self-realization yet. Unfortunately, dudes are just afraid to just walk away or to just say, nah, I'm good, right? Even as a guy, a lot of guys will put themselves in disrespectful situations, not even necessarily tolerating disrespect from a woman, but put themselves in disrespectful situations, meaning they will know a girl, they will know the boyfriend, and then the girl will hit on him, even though he already knows both the boyfriend and the girlfriend, and he will still put himself around that girl just in case, instead of removing himself from that situation because he's not trying to get himself involved with a hoe. So that's another topic that we need to talk about. Guys putting themselves in disrespectful situations. They know they shouldn't be hanging around a certain girl because they know the girl, they know the girl's boyfriend personally, or they know the girl's husband personally, and they know that girl is always hitting on him because she's a hoe, not because that she likes him, she's a hoe, but they will still put themselves around that girl because you never know. There's a lot of guys out here, they don't respect themselves. They don't value life, really. Because once they understand that there's a lot of dudes out here, they will kill you over their wife or their girlfriend. You wouldn't even entertain the situation. If you even keep that you see a girl flirting with you right in front of her husband or boyfriend, you'll be like, nah, I'm good. Oh man. He said it's Chica in Guerrero, though it's far away from where my mom was born. Black Latinos are the real Latinos, while race and class are very present and correlated in Latin America, at least between the lower and middle classes. There's more mingling. That said, most of my likes and types would be enough for you guys to lose all respect for me. He said, this the chick everyone at my job when training her would suddenly have something to do and say in my area, magically style themselves comedians. Yeah, you know, like them dudes, all of a sudden they're comedians. They can dance, they can lift. You know what I mean? And they'll do this in front of a caribou type chick. You know what I mean? It's crazy. King Pig Six says caribou is below average to me. If she was dark skinned, lots of guys would see it too. Yo, I said the same thing. I remember saying in one of my, I remember I did a live stream about Caribou and Lil Yachty. And I said if Caribou was dark skinned, she would be. I said Caribou lucky she light skinned, man, in America. Oh man. CB12 12345 says the bar is lower than hell at this point. I agree. I definitely agree. By the way, I need some water. Good Lord. Anyways, King Pick Six says once you experience a woman liking you, then you can't go back. Yo, facts. 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 Like, well, I'll say it like this. So CB12345 says this is true. This is true. And I believe this. I'll take it a step further. I believe if you don't go through that in at least if you go up to age 28 and you don't experience that, if you don't understand this transactional past the age of 28, you're going to get in a lot of trouble. You know, XVY Jay-Z says, who's the cutie on the screen? Is this your joy? Nah, that's Caribou. That's the rapper. That was Caribou. I wanted to show her as the the prototype of when we say warehouse fine, right? Or at your job fine. You know what I mean? This is what I'm talking about right here. You know, let me see. He said they need to stop flirting. Yeah, Pyro the Flame Kick says they need to stop flirting with men's women. Yo, facts. Men gotta stop doing that. This whole, I'll even see Clavicular and all these people doing these weird experiments going up to women with their men right next to them. I'm like, y'all are asking to get shot. I'm saying, why? But anyways, people are not that, they're not that smart. He says, and well, I'd rather deal with a fit and feminine, but who is kind of malevolent, sinister, and pissy, but is loyal. Oh yeah, by the way, when it comes to Latina women, the Latina woman that I like, one thing I do connect with Chronic is this. If I get the race of woman, I want her to be that. I want her to be like that ethnic. Like I like the Mexicans that I like. I like the real ethnic, like real, like you can tell like she's from Mexico, Mexico, not the European, not the Europeanized Mexican. Like I want the Mexican Mexican. You know what I mean? The ones that be looking like I remember there was this one video. Let me see. I never saved it. It's this one prototype. And I remember seeing her. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I like. This right here. But it's usually like the Europeanized Mexican that there will be something between us, whatever, and there will be a liking between us. But I really like the real ethnic looking Mexicans, but they don't be liking me back. I actually like those. You know what I mean? I like the I like the Cubans, right? But it's, I really like the real like me personally. This is just me. I like like the real tanned, you know, Venezuelans or Mexicans or Ecuadorians. Even some of even some of the black Ecuadorians I like. I like those women. You know, I like the real ethnic. Like I want the ethnic, the real ethnic. You know what I mean? If I get a white girl, I want a girl straight from Netherlands, straight from Norway, straight from Sweden, right? If I want a black girl, or how about this? If I want an African chick, I want a real African chick. You know what I mean? Want a Brazilian chick, I want a real Brazilian chick. And, you know, the Brazilians, they're mixed with everything. Brazilians got black, white, Native American, Latina, Asian. Brazilians are literally mixed with everything. But I'll say I like the Venezuelans. I love the Venezuelans that masquerade as Colombians. I love those girls. Yeah, I love those. Um, but I'm gonna leave it at that. Let me not get too horny on here. Garrett Grant, shout out to Garrett Grant in the chat. You know, but like I said, shout out to Corey Holcomb, shout out to you guys. Let me see if I can bring up another thing. I think I missed something here. Let me see. Costa. So you said it was Costa Chica and Guerrero. That's where all the basically all the real dark skinned Mexicans are. Let me see. Is that's what it is? Costa Chica Guerrero. Because I remember seeing something like that. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. Where it's literally it's like, yeah, that's what I saw. This is exactly what I saw. The Afro Mexicans. Yeah, this. I saw all of this. This is very interesting stuff. Yeah, yeah. This is exactly what I saw. Anyways, Mexico's blackest city. I've never seen this. Let me see.
Over 2.5.
Mexico's blackest city. Interesting. Interesting. But anyways, enough about that. It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame what's happening out here. Anton Daniels hiding behind his wife and his daughter to sue another man. And his fans are calling it a W. CGA not CGA's fans are calling it a W. That's wild. Angry Man behind. I mean, Angry Man is cool with this. This is wild work. Let me see if I can play. Let me play No Captivity with Freezy because he had something to say about this, and I like what he had. I like some of the things he had to say about this situation. Because Anton Daniels, I think, sent a cease and desist to no, I don't think he sent a cease. He sent a straight strike on his channel, if I'm not mistaken. He sent something to his channel. No captivity of Freezy. He was the one that where didn't he wasn't this the guy that he said that he said that Freezy needs to die. He doesn't belong on this earth and stuff like that. Crazy work. But anyways,
he cracked some jokes, right? And
let me play No Captivities with Freezy. Let me play Freezy's video real quick.
For me, it's not working.
But Dre, let me ask you something. Is it seriously? Is it affected Anton's daughter, or is that just cap?
No, it didn't affect her. I mean, she, from what I know, she don't know anything about it. You know, they try to keep her out of that or away from that kind of stuff. And he told me she's good for now. I mean, I don't know.
Now, mind you, this is the uncle on the phone saying that Anton Daniels' daughter didn't even know about what Corey Holcomb said about her being ugly and stuff like that, right? And now you're gonna put your daughter on the stand and have her lie. That like but hey, it is what it is.
If anybody else has told her, but last time this was yesterday.
Well, we might
she
have
don't know
lawyers.
nothing about.
Hold on, slow down.
No captivity. Freezy.
sued Corey Holcomb and Anton boy Freezy and what up? This your boy Freezy and Anton Daniels has officially sued Corey Holcomb and the paperwork is out. It's breaking news. Content creators are all over this and they've been covering this, right? I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been looking over these paperwork and everything, and Anton Daniels, just from my observation, has reached an all-time low, man. Anton Daniels has reached.
Like I said, all the people that are calling out Anton Daniels' treacherous behavior, these are people not even part of the Manosphere. These are just regular channels, like regular people. And they're just like, Anton Daniels is beyond foul. So like I said, especially once this all dies down eventually, once the truth eventually comes out, once Anton Daniels gets completely exposed, we're gonna have to start looking at specifically these channels in the Black Manosphere. We're really gonna have to look at these guys and be like, yo, what's up with y'all? Like, I thought you were against, men getting sued, men being brought to court, recklessly because of hurt feelings and all this stuff. I thought you guys were against this type of system. But you guys were supporting a grifter. And not only he didn't even have the balls to put his name on the paperwork, to put his wife and the daughter on the paperwork, to indirectly sue him. so he doesn't have to take the stand, or he doesn't have to be put in the spotlight if somebody starts asking for his information or his part. You know,
It's an all-time low, to be honest with you. I'm just saying, like, I'm going to show y'all why I feel like Anton Daniels has reached an all-time low. I'm not going to keep y'all long. I do have a copy of the paperwork. I have the copy of the lawsuit document. Shout out to my dog, House of Hypocrites, that actually furnished me with it. And he is giving this to you for a small fee. I think he's charging like $10, House of Hypocrites. So if you need this document, make sure y'all hit up House of Hypocrites. I want to show y'all why I feel like
that's crazy though. Whoever House of Hypocrites is, he apparently he found the paperwork, and now he's charging people for them to download the PDF. That's crazy work. What a grift. But anyways, because I don't know who House of Hypocrites is, um, personally. He's not on Anton Daniels' side either, but bruh, to charge people $10 to see some paperwork, come on, man. Come on, man.
Anton Daniels is a coward, and why this lawsuit is just, to me, so dishonorable. Now, I do want to point out that I understand how Anton and the mother could be upset because Corey Holcomb actually showed their daughter in a very defamatory, well, not defamatory. He didn't even show his daughter in a defamatory way. He actually just showed a photo of Anton's daughter, and he cracked some jokes, right? And maybe it was ill-advised, maybe it was distasteful, whatever, but that's Corey Holcomb. He's a comedian, right? He showed her photo on the 5150 show. I want to say maybe I think that was like a week after the January 13th incident between him and Anton Daniels on that show. So I want to show y'all why I feel like Anton Daniels is a coward. He's full of SHIT, and there's no honor in this, okay? There's no honor in this, and I'm going to show y'all why. So right here, this is the lawsuit. This is the lawsuit right here. It says complaint filed by Leslie, an individual Daniels, and Sharita, an individual Daniels. So Leslie is Anton Daniels' daughter, obviously, and Sharita is Anton Daniels' wife. Now, right here, we don't see Anton Daniels' name nowhere.
Crazy work. Crazy work. Nowhere on the paperwork you see Anton Daniels' name.
We don't see Anton Daniels' name anywhere. Let me go back here. Right here is proof that Anton Daniels' name is nowhere on this lawsuit. Now, shout out to House of Hypocrites. He had pointed this out too, but I want to point out something extra. The reason why Anton Daniels' name is not on this lawsuit is because he knows he's guilty of all of the shenanigans, all of the disrespectful things that he had done towards Corey Holcomb, had done towards Corey Holcomb's co-host, right? And even other people on the West Coast, right? In a violent, aggressive, disrespectful, egregious way.
So, but that's the point, you know, all the things that he's going to say, oh, he said this about my wife, my daughter. He said that to many other people. So that's why he didn't put himself in the lawsuit. Because they would have just brought up Anton Daniels' video. And even though Anton Daniels had been, you know, deleting videos, editing his live streams, no amount of editing would have been able to save him from this work. Excuse me, sorry for burping. But anyways.
Anton Daniels acted an ass during that week between January 13th and January 20th, right before.
So King Pick 6, he asked, do you think that lawsuit goes anywhere, Chris? Like in a fair world, it shouldn't, but it's California. Remember, they're dropping this. This is going to be this is a lawsuit dropped in the state of California. There's a reason why, you know, you'll have, you know, the baby mamas, the ex-wives, they always drop the lawsuit in California for a reason. You know what I mean? Now, this is the thing. I'd be if this lawsuit doesn't even take off, that means Anton is super, super bogus. I'm talking about superbly bogus. Sorry, superbly bogus. You know what I mean? Like if because when it comes to a lawsuit, the court, if they can make some money off it, they'll entertain it. But if this lawsuit doesn't go through, there's gonna be a lot of people with, first of all, Anton's gonna be looking stupid, but Anton supporters, y'all gonna be looking hella stupid. That shows you that means the lawsuit is so bogus that even California wouldn't take it. That means you got a real bogus ass lawsuit. XVYJZ says, now that I think about it, Anton's whole play in going on Corey's show was to rage bait him for a lawsuit. Exactly. That was the goal. But apparently people like Anton, they get support in the manosphere, in the so-called black manosphere. It's a lot of people like I said, there was a lot of people in CGA's chat that was pro Anton. Most of the people in CJ's chat was pro Anton. I was surprised. And obviously most of the people that follow Angry Man are pro Anton, right? Yeah, exactly. Georgia Golden 5041 says, but Anton was saying all this stuff transpired within a half a day's time. Yeah, like because I remember I even broke it down. I was like, this makes no sense. You said that you had to take your daughter out and she suffered mental and trauma damage in how many hours? Like the same day? And then on top of that, high schoolers don't watch 5150 show. That's a show for like adults. I'm not talking about regular adults. We're talking about like adults in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s even. Not even for 20-year-old. 20-year-olds don't even watch 5150 show like that. Outside of like me and a handful of other people. So that whole angle that he was trying to pull, that didn't even make sense. Garrett says, just when I think Anton could have made himself more bitch made than before, he throws his wife and daughter as a shield just because Corey punked him. But like I said, it's not even just that, it's just the people supporting this. I can't believe people are on his side on this. Just, I'm like, what kind of nigga do that? What kind of man? I'm like, this is the stuff that I think even like a small hat, if you had like a man that was a small hat, he would have to think before even pulling a move like that. Like he'd be like, damn, I don't think this is. I gotta save this for a different time. Such a low ball move. But anyways, P. Watkins says Anton is such a clown. He got California court laughing with all the gang. Like I said, if California doesn't even take this case, meaning if they throw this case out, like that would be very embarrassing, you know. But even imagine if this even goes through in court and Corey wins. That would be crazy. But this like st dropping lawsuits like this is. I mean, like even like because you gonna put your like I'm like if this goes through, your daughter's gonna have to take the stand and lie. Like you're willing to put your daughter through that, your wife. If this is who the manosphere is supporting, this is who the black manosphere is supporting. This is what we support. People in CGA's chat, this is what y'all cool with that? Wow. It's but anyways, George Golden 5041 says, and if anything, Anton is causing his daughter more damage. He's been on national shows like Dr. Phil and Fox News. Who's gonna have the bigger impact? Yeah, I've seen him. Yeah, I've even seen Anton on Stephen A. Smith's show. Like I don't know, like this nigga a plant. This nigga a plant. This nigga a plant. Like a straight plant. Because I've seen the shows he's getting access to, the stuff. I'm like, yo, this is not. This is not a normal situation. This is not a normal man. This is a person with some kind of backing from somebody. Like this is some weird stuff. But anyways, CB12345 says Anton only cares about himself. He will turn on his own family, so he can't be trusted. Oh yeah, somebody brought up earlier Anton getting into a physical fight with his own family. You know that character, Brandon Jamal, the guy that made that single mom song? Sorry, just got to sneeze. The man that made the single mom song, he got into a fight with his female cousin during the holidays. Something's wrong with these new ninjas, man. Like how you getting into a fight with your female cousin and like how? Because you said something about Jazz, and he said, "Oh, she only attacked me because I said Jasmine Crockett is an idiot." And I'm like, first of all, you said a lot more than that. And number two, um, you're with your family. Why are you talking about politics? The fuck's wrong with people, bro? You with your family and you want to prove a point. You want to talk about politics. I mean, bro, these new ninjas, man, these new ninjas, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with these ninjas nowadays, man. King Pig 6 says Anton is a Mossad agent. That's plausible. That's very plausible. Because remember, there was a remember Net and Yahoo was offering, some stacks to some content creators for anybody that supports them, you know. Anyways, he says Brandon Jamal was just dark triad maxing. B. Watkins says weirdos will say he was hitting on her. Oh Lord. Yeah, let me see. CB12345 says, I remember the Brandon Jamal situation. He went live with a bloody face and red scratches on his body. I'm like, yeah, you probably said a lot more than that, than just Jasmine Crockett is an idiot. But either way, I don't care. Dude, I'm like, dude, I don't care. Dude, you're with your family. Why are you talking about politics and who's smart and who's not and who's gonna do what? You're not supposed to be talking politics with your family. First of all, you're not supposed to be talking politics with women in general. That's just my opinion. Unless if you're going to instruct your woman to, you need to vote this because I told you to vote this, right? But outside of that, you're not supposed to be talking politics with the women of your life, your sisters, your mom. Like you're visiting your mom, you're visiting your sister, your cousin. It's just it's them. Like Brandon Jamal probably the type to get mad if his mom brings up his baby pictures in front of his girl. Like that's just what they do. Like I don't know. Like I don't know. These people are weird nowadays. But yeah, a lot. Well, Net and Yahoo. Net and Yahoo was offering some stacks to make sure people put some respect on his country's name. And specifically, who he targeted was people that are in the Red Party. I would just say it like that, the Red Party, and anybody that is connected to supporting Orange Man. because he feels like he could get the best support from those types of people, right? But yeah, politics nowadays is a war zone. I don't bring up Orange Man. Plus, I don't want to talk politics on my off time. That's a waste of time. Let's talk about something else. Like when I'm around, first of all, when I'm around my female cousins, I just let them roast me. Who gives a fuck? I'm like, remember Sergeant Dokes from Dexter? You know how like Sergeant Dokes be around his when he has dinner with his mom and his two sisters? That's it. I'm not gonna say that's me, but it's pretty close. Sometimes, even though like I don't, people don't go like the women in my life don't go out their way to roast me or and shit like that. But meaning just let them talk. Like politics, I'll say in my family, politics doesn't mean anything. Like I'll give you my dad, for example. My dad is like he's liberal because he thinks it's the right thing to do, but really his actions in life is just mostly you think he's more on the conservative side. But when when Obese ran for office, he became a liberal. He became a Democrat, right? He just aligned with it because he was black. But when you look at my dad's life, there's nothing liberal about him, like at all. I'm talking about at all, right? That's most, really a lot of most black dads that I know, they're like that. You know, it's no like my dad knows how to change. My dad knows how to fix cars. My dad knows how to he knows how to negotiate. He literally knows everything that a man is supposed to know and more. He doesn't agree with the rainbow community. Like my dad is a man's man. Not he's not loud. He's actually very quiet, but he's a man's man, right? But he's a liberal. His actions don't even match his politics. It's just he thinks he's doing the right thing. Why would I, why would I, like me personally, why would I argue with my dad that Obese was a charlatan? That's a waste of my time. It's just a complete waste of my time. King Pick Six says, "Do you know how terrible of a person you have to be for your siblings to create a podcast and talk bad about you?" But it is like there's a lot of the people in the conservative party have figured out um, they can they can make some money off the conservative party by relaying the conservative talking points. By the way, did you guys hear the battery low from my bootleg AirPods? That would be funny if you guys did hear that. But anyways, CV12345 says these new dudes are weirdos nowadays for the most part. Yeah, they're grifting off the conservative party. King Pick Six says, "What happened to Brandon Jamal? Why did he have a bloody face? Is because he." Oh, you're tagging CV, but he got into a fight with his female cousin. This thing crazy, boy. Ellis is here says professionally, BB Nosferatu calls their paid supporters has Hasbarists. I don't know what that means. But anyway, let me check something out. Because apparently my battery is low on my AirPods, so I need to be careful. I need to be real. Let me see. Am I still going through? Put a one in the chat if I'm still going through with my my with my audio because one of my bootleg AirPods shut off because of low battery. So hopefully I'm still coming through. But I know the video audio is still coming through. Okay, good, good, good. Thank you, Pyro. So let me keep this thing playing.
Before Corey Holcomb actually dropped the bomb and actually showed Anton's daughter, which he was close to 18 at the time, he showed his daughter and made some jokes about his daughter, right? The reason why Anton Daniels is not named as a plaintiff, it just goes to show you that Anton knows that if his name was put on this document, it would make this document very uncredible. You understand what I'm saying? It would make this document very uncredible. I'm telling you. And so I wanted to point that out, man, that just for the very reason that Anton know he could have put his name on this document because he knows that he's guilty of actually saying a lot of defamatory things toward Corey Holcomb. To be honest with you, I just felt like Anton Daniels should have just took this across the chin and just not even went here, right? Because for one, Corey Holcomb, all he's going to do is probably do a countersuit, and it's just going to be a lot of unnecessary money paid on the behalf of Anton Daniels, Corey Holcomb, right?
But that's the point. He's just trying to see if he can make Corey Holcomb go broke and bend the knee. When people are dropping lawsuits on people, it's not even about, what's right and what's wrong. It's about seeing if you have the funds to keep this stuff going, see if you have the funds to defend yourself. It's not like the justice system we don't have a justice system. It's what they say, it's just us, right? So it's just about the embarrassment of it going through the process. It's like it's the same reason like why you'll have bitter baby mothers, bitter ex-wives drag their ex-husbands and their ex-lovers through court. It's the process of going through it, the questions, the money, the embarrassment, all of that. This all comes into play. Here we go. Oh man, hold on for a sec. I almost exit out of my own stream. Here we go. Let's press play here.
But I feel like Anton Daniels should be ashamed of himself, to be honest with you. Just for putting his daughter out here and putting his wife out here as if they are the plaintiffs when they had nothing to do with it. They didn't tell Anton Daniels to act an ass. Let me make this larger. They did not tell Anton Daniels to act an ass or anything. They didn't have anything to do with this. And Anton Daniels made them the plaintiffs of this lawsuit as if they're the one that actually took this lawsuit out. And we know Anton Daniels is the one that took this lawsuit out. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. If I had any respect for Anton Daniels, which I didn't, if I had a nano ounce of respect for Anton Daniels, it went out the window with this lawsuit. I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. And here's the thing, man. He wants money. He's not suing for the integrity of his family. Anton Daniels wants money. Right here it says, Defendant Holcomb, since his podcast has promotions for products that bring in substantial income, Anton Daniels wants money. Let me go to page 6 right here. Right here at the end. Defendants knew the statement made would create a false impression about plaintiff. Defendants acted with reckless disregard of the truth. Plaintiff Leslie Daniels was harmed by the public statements. The statements made by defendants were a substantial factor in causing harm to the plaintiff. As a result of the foregoing, plaintiff requests compensatory damages in an amount determined at trial. So Anton Daniels is looking for money. And right here, this is crazy where it says plaintiff Leslie Daniels was harmed.
Yeah, he is, but it's mostly the embarrassment and the inconvenience of all of that.
By the public statements made by defendants. Let me show y'all something. They're saying Anton's daughter was harmed by the public statements made by Corey Holcomb. Now, what I'm about to show y'all next is Anton Daniels' Brothers podcast. Anton Daniels' Brothers podcast, along with close family and friends. This is their podcast called the What Up Doe Podcast.
No captivity.
So here's the What Up Doe Podcast, right? And I want y'all to hear what was said at this point of the podcast. They actually had their phone lines open, and one of Anton's brothers by the name of Andre called in, and a question was asked towards Anton's brother Andre, and I want y'all to pay attention. Here we go.
For me, that part don't make sense. I would have never even went on that show. You know what I'm saying? Because
me either. I wouldn't have went on that show, but I mean,
like it's not working. For me, it's not working.
But Dre, let me ask you something. Is it seriously? Is it affected Anton's daughter, or was that just cap?
No, it didn't affect. I mean, from what I know, she don't know anything about it. You know, they try to keep her out of that or away from that kind of stuff. And he told me she's good for now. I mean, I don't know if anybody else has told her, but last time this was yesterday.
Well, we might have lawyers. Hold on, slow down. We might have lawyers involved here. That girl is traumatized. What the y'all talking about? I talked to. What are y'all talking about?
Right. She is. She's traumatized. Yeah.
No captivity.
So as
Yeah, that's crazy right here, where they have the actual video of the uncle saying that the basically saying that the daughter has no idea of this. She doesn't even know what's going on with this nonsense with Corey Holcomb or the 51 shit 50 show. But Anton Daniels, just to claim a so-called W, he's willing to put his own daughter on the stand. That's, hey, it is what it is. B. Watson says, LOL on the thing about Brandon Jamal Jr. reminded me of a grifter who once said, if you hit women, it means you're asserting dominance and showing you and showing you interest. Oh man. Uh, but like I said, hold on for a sec. So CV said these new dudes are weirdos, but here's the thing: Brandon Jamal, he's not in his 20s. He's in his not late 30s. I think he's 35 or 36. He's a millennial. He's not Gen Z. And Anton Daniels is definitely not Gen Z. Um, he's in his 40s. Anton is in his 40s, but I think he's a millennial as well. So this one right here, millennials got to take an L on this one. Anton Daniels age. He comes across as a millennial, you know. They're saying he's 41 years old. Hmm. So, but oh yeah, if he is 41 years old, that means he's definitely a millennial. Um, but yeah, that's a whole other story.
Y'all can see this is all a stunt and a play to probably try to garner some money and to hurt Corey Holcomb's pockets. Will he succeed? I don't know. I'm pretty sure Corey Holcomb is going to try to do a countersuit, but this is what I mean by Anton. Anton is the POS, a piece of SHIT. And just for him to actually prop his daughter and his wife up as the lead plaintiffs on this and leave his name totally out of this, obviously because he knew that his credibility is not there. His credibility is shot. Right? If he puts his name on that lawsuit, it will make the lawsuit so weak. And that says a lot about Anton Daniels. It says a lot about Anton Daniels. Listen, man, share this video, hype this video, and make sure y'all comment in the comment section. This your boy, No Captivity with Freezy, signing out. I love y'all, and y'all know what I always say. To free yourself, you must heal yourself. And until the next time, we out of here.
But anyways, it's about 11. It's about 11:17. My batteries are running low. Well, my AirPods, my bootleg AirPods, batteries are running low. Apparently, my brother and his girlfriend made cookies. I shall partake. Oh, sorry. Yeah, my brother and his girlfriend made cookies. I shall partake in this. Let me see. Let me remove this. But yeah, my AirPods are about to die. So I do have to unfortunately sign off real quick. Um, let's see, how much battery do I have left? Oh, okay, I'm good. But yeah, this is disgraceful from Anton. And thank you guys for tuning in so far. Thank you for tuning in. King Pig said, peace. Thank you. Pyro said, them cookies are probably laced with weed. It better not be. Um, first of all, my brother doesn't smoke, and I think his girl doesn't smoke, but I don't know. But I shall be grateful and partake, right? But I'm gonna speak more on this. I was gonna speak more on this. Um, we'll talk soon. I don't know if I'll do a separate video on this. Let me see tomorrow what I got. I'll speak on it. I'll speak on it. It'll probably be a late night. It'll be a late night stream. But man, peace out, guys. Peace out. I have no outro. This is gonna be historical, no outro video this time, unfortunately. I'm so sorry, guys, because of the audio. But man, thank you guys for tuning in. Please be easy, be safe. Do not carry on dead weight. This is not the time, if you can. But if you do have a girl, make sure you take care of her. Make sure everything's good. Peace out. Take care of your family. And everybody, please be safe.